Young men these days were never taught by another man how to treat a lady like a lady. And they go into a relationship, girlfriends, marriages, getting all their information from Hollywood. And it's a crash and burn.
What is your advice to young guys on how they can treat a lady better and understand them?
Treat her like she's special. My problem with the feminist movement is why in the Sam Hill was something as special and wonderful as a woman want to be equal with a man? Why do you want to bring yourself down to that level? You know, as a Christian, God gave two very special gifts to mankind. The first one was a woman, and the second was Jesus Christ. I think it's degrading to women to try to be the same as a man is, okay? Treat them special. And secondly is communicate, all right? If you don't understand what they're saying, if you're confused, sit down and gently say, look, I'm sorry. I don't understand. I don't understand what you're feeling. I don't understand, but I'd love to understand if you can help me. And just sit down and communicate.
What about the reverse? What do you wish more women knew about how men operated?
There's 10,000 times more going on inside the head of a man than you have any idea. He's carrying burdens that you don't have a clue about, and he don't know how to express them, and he don't know what to do about it, and he figures if he puts it out there and communicates it, he's just going to be shot down, called a fool, called weak, so he carries it inside, and you have no clue the burdens and the hell that most men are carrying inside and not even showing you.
A strange problem, I think, of the modern discussion around men and why they're struggling, that a lot of the solutions that get put forward, a lot of the only acceptable solutions that get put forward are, if only you acted less like a man, all of your problems would go away. That men are treated like defective women as opposed to treated like work in progress.
The average man, I believe, the average real man, does not need to go get therapy for the battles and the burdens he's carrying inside. What he needs is for those that he's carrying them for to recognize that they're there and to respect it and to be grateful for it. They don't need therapy, they need gratitude.
What's your thoughts around vulnerability within a relationship? If you're not going to the therapist, perhaps, how about opening up about these fears and concerns? And
well, first off, let's take away vulnerability, okay? Because a lot of times men won't open up, they won't respond because it's looked at as becoming vulnerable. And it's like the little Dutch boy with his finger in the dike. It's a little tiny leak, but if I allow this little tiny leak, the entire dike is going to give way. That's why we can't allow the little tiny leak, okay? So if I'm sitting here and if I'm one of these guys and my significant other is sitting there, I can communicate to her what I need to communicate without being vulnerable. I can maintain my strength and communicate to her, okay? I can say, look, I'm working 60 hours a week, and the environment that I'm working in is very, very difficult. And I come home and I only have 8 hours here at the house, and this is the only place of peace I have in this entire world. And when I come home, you're angry all the time. You're not satisfied about anything. You want whatever the situation is. If you're not going to provide for me that little bit of peace, that this is the only place I can get, what are we doing? Now, you're not vulnerable. You're not getting walked on. You're not being a jerk. You're not coming in, throwing stuff down and saying this. You're just communicating. The hard reality truth is our relationship at this point has boiled down to this. Now, you have a beautiful house. You never worry about there being grocery money. You have a car. I put the fuel in your car because you let it go to empty all the time. I provide this and this and this. And what I'd like for you is some peace and some understanding. If that's where your situation is. But to communicate it in such a way, not to come in and whine, not to grovel, and not to tyrant, not to yell, not to pick a fight. It's like, look, I'm just communicating because I think we have a lack of understanding here. So I need you to understand this is where things are right now. And so you can communicate But how you communicate is just as important as what you communicate.
Transparent communication like that is so rare. Being able to put across what you mean without ladening it with resentment, passive aggression.
Right. I knew a guy many years ago. He had a little dog, one of those little furry little rat dogs, you know. And his one of his little joys in life was he'd look at that dog and he'd smile and he'd say, "Oh, you're so stupid. You're the ugliest, dumbest, most worthless dog I ever seen in my life." And that dog would just wiggle and roll over and he'd look at me and say, "It doesn't matter what you say, it's how you say it." Dog has no idea what I'm saying, but I say it in a loving tone and it's all good. You know, there's a lot of truth to that in communicating with people. We can say things that are not necessarily blatantly offensive, but we can say it in a real belligerent, aggressive tone. And all they hear is the tone. They didn't even hear the
Medium is
words.
the message.
That's right. They don't even hear the words.